Yeah, it's rewind time.
Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash, and more specifically, another episode of Flashback Reviews. This is of course the series where we go back in time, visually I guess you would say, not physically, and look back at some of the greatest and top rated episodes of The Flash since season 1, not episode, I guess episode 1 of season 1, it works either way. Mostly taking episodes from seasons 1 to 3 to make it a real flashback, but some episodes from later seasons may creep in there. But if you do have a major preference for an episode you would love to see, Flashback 2 in this series, let me know in the comments. In this episode, we will be looking back at episode 6 of season 2. That's right, the fan favorite episode of Enter Zoom. Now, of course, feel free to continue watching, but if you do want to go back and watch the episode for yourself before watching this video, feel free to do that as well. Even though as soon as I start talking about the episode, memories should, start flooding back in. Now, as I will always do, I will let you know of the next episode in the series that we will be flashbacking to before jumping into this episode, just so you can get prepared if you want to do that and go watch it. And the next episode we'll be going over is...
Daddy likes the middle.
Thanks, Goldface. It's episode 20 of season 1, otherwise known as The Trap. That is the next episode we'll be flashbacking to, and, well, let's just hope it isn't a trap. Okay, bad joke. Please don't click off the video. Let's just move on from that. Just terrible moment. But of course, let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comments section down below, what you loved about it, as well as dropping a like on the video to support the series. Would be greatly appreciated if you could do that. But yeah, here is the Speed Force recap of the episode. So leading into this episode, we had been blessed with the introduction of the new Harrison Wells, this one being from Earth-2, with Cisco nicknaming him Harry to distinguish him from the Thorn version of Wells we had previously. Now, Harry reveals to the team that he was responsible for the creation of the metahumans and Zoom on Earth-2 in similar ways to how it went down on Earth-1. He does also tell the team that he plans to help them stop Zoom and also other meta-villains that they, encounter. An Earth-2 version of Linda Park under the name of Dr. Light shows up. She attempts to kill our Linda Park from Earth-1, and she actually kills Linda and Iris's boss instead, and soon after is captured by Team Flash, with Barry and the team planning to use Dr. Light in an attempt to lure Zoom out. But as we pick up in this episode of Enter Zoom, we have the real Dr. Light escape her cell and ditch the clothes. She's running around in the nude, which pushed the team to come up with a plan to have the Earth-1 Linda Park impersonate Dr. Light in their plan against Zoom. Harry creates a speed dampening serum to use in the plan, which ends up failing to the team's frustration, with Harry being the most triggered. Zoom knew the plan was coming and afterwards goes after Linda Park, kidnapping her to lure out Barry before taking him on in a very vicious speedster fight. Zoom is much faster, much stronger, and easily overpowers Barry, showing him defeated with his battered and bruised body to the various locations around Central City, including the Central City Picture News and the Central City Police Department. Zoom is shot with the serum that Harry had created when he drags Barry's body back to Star Labs, but is able to get away, leaving Harry very frustrated, which leads him to revealing that Zoom has his daughter, which Cisco had seen in a vibe earlier on in the episode. Later on, Barry wakes from his injuries and discovers that he can no longer feel his legs. Cliffhanger. But of course, as we usually do in these flashback reviews, we will be going over the pros and cons of the episodes. Obviously, because these are the top rated and the greatest episodes of The Flash, there usually isn't many cons. Sometimes there's none, sometimes there's one. And for this episode, there's one, and I think it's an obvious one just because I don't think it's necessarily straight because of the episode, but in hindsight, when you look back at the episode and, what never came in the future, it's this episode's fault, if you want to call it, or this is where it stemmed from. And that con is just the handling of Linda Park. I felt that the only reason they did this with her doppelganger being, from Earth-2 and, it being Dr. Light was just to allow the story to play out where Linda was written out of the show. Obviously, there's a big Flash fan base that, in regards to the comics, where Linda Park was their version of Iris West because, Barry was dead. Wally was the Flash. Linda Park was Wally's partner. So Linda Park was brought in season 1 to pretty much be a Barry love interest, just lingered around, worked at the same location as Iris, and this was just the way that they wrote around the show. It's still got a lot of people sort of triggered about it and salty. They didn't handle it extremely well. It's just that she went to Coast City to hang out with some friends and then just apparently stayed there, gave up her life on Central City. it's a problem that stemmed from this episode and they never really came back to it. I understand the actress was, I guess, did other roles and was busy, but it was always just not very well closed, if that makes sense. So it's a big issue with this episode, not necessarily straight from, like, within the episode, but it's a big issue that stemmed from the episode, so it's a con. But let's just jump into the pros, because there's a good handful. So I'm just going to jump straight into it. The first one, Harry. Like, just Harry. Like, I forgot how fun Harry was in season 2. In this episode, it's not even full on, because he's much better in the second half, when he's much more accustomed to being around Cisco. But even then, just him being there, just like, Harry was awesome. Best Wells. Just loved being around him. So yeah, Harry just gets his own point. Harry. Just Harry. Next up, Paddy Spivet. I don't know if I mentioned her in this recap. I don't think I did. Paddy Spivet's here. I forgot how fun of a character she was. I think she actually leaves the show soon after this. I think she's only in maybe like 4 or 5 more episodes and then she leaves. I think she might leave in the mid-season finale, actually. So she's only in like 3 more episodes after this one. So I forgot how much of a fun character she was. I understand why she had to go for a couple of reasons, you know, within the show and also outside of the show. But it was still a fun character to be around, and I thought she had good chemistry with Joe as well as Barry. So yeah, I forgot how good of a character Paddy Spivet was, but I understand why she had to go. But yeah, I completely forgot she was even going to be in this episode, to be completely honest, but it was good to see her. Linda Park's Dr. Light training montage and just that whole sequence I thought was very, very funny. Once again, there's a lot of things that I remember, like, just like in like the old brain, but that you forget were in this episode, because when you think Enter Zoom, you just think of that battle between Barry and Zoom, which we'll come to, but you forget about all the other moments, and that you still remember, you just don't remember that they were in this episode. So even just that training montage I thought was funny, which also comes back technically later in the season when I think it's versus Zoom. There's a similar sort of scene, but it's in a more demonic way with Zoom. Cisco's vintage vibes. I've called them vintage vibes because they sort of changed as he went on, because when he like tapped into his powers more, but to see the way they used to do it here was really, really cool, and yet I just hadn't seen it for a while, so I really liked seeing those vintage vibes that Cisco used to do really early on, so it was really cool to go back to those. Of course, similar to the training montage sequence with Linda Park pretending to be Dr. Light, we also had it's a fake fight scene between the Flash and Dr. Light, even though, yeah, it's not Dr. Light, it's Earth-1 Linda Park pretending to be her. But that whole scene, very funny, and obviously it's them pretending to do the fight, so you have actors in the show playing these normal people pretending to act or trying to act, and it doesn't really work that well. It's very, I wouldn't say it's cringy, it's just a bit awkward, and just like, not doing the best job there, people. Like, seriously, Cisco's a bit thematic, a bit theatrical. Maybe he should have done the acting lessons, and I think Cisco at that point also talks about he should have written some better dialogue, which, yeah, Cisco maybe should have thought ahead and at least wrote something, at least one monologue for one of them to say, and then the other one can sort of play off it. So, not the best acting, but I guess it was good to have a bit of a funny scene before we moved into some dark and scary times in this episode, and that starts when we see Zoom taking or kidnapping or taking hostage Linda Park. That scene in general, I'm trying to remember back for when I first watched the episode, like 2015 it would have been? 2015, God, 5 years ago, that's insane. 2015, just, if I got jump scared, I think I remember getting a bit like, whoa, that was out of the blue, it was a bit jump scary, but in that scene, Zoom doesn't say anything. He just sort of growls. He goes like, grrr. He definitely doesn't go grrr, but he goes like, something. I don't even know what noises I'm making at the moment. They're very weird, but he makes just like this growling, snarling noise. Very threatening. He's extremely tall, so he's looking down at Linda Park. Pretty scary, and it's a bit of a jump scare moment as well. So that scene, that little moment there was great when Linda's just outside of the Central City Picture News and Zoom takes her. But obviously this leads into the big moment of the episode, which is the Zoom versus the Flash fight, as we had Zoom lure out the Flash with Linda, and we get this awesome scene. I think it still would be like in people's top 5 scenes. If you ask pretty much the majority of Flash viewers, this would probably be in the top 5 for most people. So we have this big fight. We get to see the Thunderbolt grab midair, which I don't even know if it makes sense, but it looked awesome. grab him with his clawed hands, as Cisco says, and throws it back at Barry. Just absolutely beating the hell out of Barry, breaking the Flash's back, stabbing him, just degrading him, and dragging the Flash through Central City, showing him at different points on the news. So pretty much all of Central City, if they're watching the news, would have seen just the Flash beaten up by this, this demonic speedster just holding him. Awesome fight. Awesome way to end the scene. And it builds up this episode really well to the point where that's just so rewarding, getting that scene and just seeing that all play out. It was just great. And obviously, as I said in the recap, it makes Barry lose the ability to walk for, I think it was just the one episode. I think Barry just couldn't walk for an episode. I can't remember what happened the next episode, to be completely honest. But yeah, this episode in general was just really, really fun to watch. But yeah, overall, final thoughts on the episode. As I just said, it was a really, really fun episode to watch. I think it was really rewarding, and I understand why it is one of the top-rated episodes for The Flash since it started. Just that, I think that scene alone, that end scene with the, Flash versus Zoom, makes the episode, no matter what. It could have been the worst episode ever leading up to that moment, and that scene alone would have redeemed the episode to the point where like, yep, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for sure. Awesome. Loved going back and watching it. And yeah, just I think it deserves to be up there. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode or this video. If you did, it'd be awesome. You could drop a like and it shows support for the series and just the channel as a whole. Let me know in the comment section down below. What were your thoughts about this episode? Do you think it deserves to be up there as one of the top rated episodes for The Flash in its entirety? What were your favorite parts of the episode? I'm assuming it's going to be the fight between the Flash and Zoom, but if you want to leave any specifics as to why that is, feel free to. I'm all ears. I'd love to hear all your opinions and thoughts down there in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.